Welcome to the Kumihimo YouTube channel, and in this video I want to continue my series of counted designs for 8-cord beaded round braid Kumihimo. And a counted design is one where you need to count out the individual beads onto the cords in a specific pattern to achieve a specific result, such as beads on either side, clusters, a wide stripe, or, and that's what this video is going to be about, little triangles. So I'll move the others out of the way and you'll be able to find other videos on those. And here's another example, slightly more subtle effect here because the colours blend in a little bit more. So you can achieve some really lovely results with this. For this one I've used size 8 beads, I've used a matte black, and then I've used silver lined pink and silver lined purple to achieve that. It almost lights up really, that effect. And on this one I've used the cream beads as the background, again size 8s all of them, and again I've used silver lined beads for the gold beads and for the little green ones. So you can have a lot of fun with this design. You can use all different sorts of beads if you want to. Kumihimo is all about trial and error. This video is about showing you how to achieve this setup. The results, the dimensions, will depend on you. So I'm not going to give you exact quantities of beads or lengths of cord. So you will need to work that out for yourself, because every braid is different. You may use a different size of clasp. Your disc may be in a different condition. Your beads may be slightly different to mine. So all these things will affect the dimensions of a braid. So as I say, this video is probably, I'd say, not so much for beginners. I've got lots of other videos. You can browse my channel for beginners videos, learning how to do Kumihimo, beaded Kumihimo, all different sorts. This one is very specifically about counted designs. Now, when we start to talk about counted designs, I have to always say very clearly that you've got to start with your disc set up in the correct way. And by correct way, I mean the same way as the person who created the pattern. When you load on your beads, your cords must be in the same positions. So in this case, this is my design, so it's how I started off, but it is pretty constant with other people. So by that I mean your cords need to be in the north, south, east and west positions. But more importantly, the next cords to be moved have got to be either top right or bottom left. So you may start with top right, you may start with bottom left, doesn't matter, that makes no difference whatsoever. But these two cords go in the same moves, top down, bottom up, or bottom up, top down, however you like to do it. So how do you work out if you've actually got your cords in the right position? First of all, look very closely at the point of braiding, which is this part here. I'm going to bring the disc up more closely. So what you can see here is that the navy cords are over the silver cords, both there and here. So I know that these two navy cords were the last two to be moved. So that means I know that the next cords are these two, because we're working top right and bottom left. There is another way of working out if you're in the right position and which your next cords to move are, and that's by looking at the shaping of the actual cords. So if we look at the silver cords, they're closer together at the bottom here, giving them a V shape, whereas the navy cords are wider apart at this point, giving them more of a U shape. So all you need to remember is that the V-shaped ones are the very next ones to be moved. Now finally, I know a lot of people like to work out which cord is next by half completing the next move. So that would mean that you were on your dots, and if your next cord to come down is your top right, and your disc is in this position, or it might be the other way around, of course. If you're a bottom up first person, it will be this position. All you need to remember is to return that third cord to its original position, so that again your cords are in the right positions and you know that number 1 and its counterpart down here are going to be the next ones to be moved. So that's your starting position. Now I'd like to bring in the chart. So counted charts are typically quite long charts telling you exactly which beads to thread on which cord. I wanted to simplify this, so I've worked mine out as simple 4-row repeats. So I'm first of all going to explain how the chart works, and to do that again I need to bring in 2 discs. So across the top we have got the slots. Now most discs will have this configuration where you've got the slot and then the number, say 1 on one side of that slot and 32 on the other. So that's why I've written it as 32/1. But some discs, such as this one, which is Sally Battis's extra thick disc, the numbers are actually under the slot. So you've got here, you've got 1 right under that slot. So that's why I've put the number 1 in bold. So you've got the slots going across the top. Then coming down the sides, you've got your 4 rows of repeats. And the letters refer to A as your background colour and B is your triangle. Now, this is a 4-row repeat. So in both of these examples, you'll see that I've used 2 different colours. So you would repeat 1 row, in this case is pink, and the next repeat could be purple. You can do whatever you like with this. You could make it rainbow colours running down through the braid. You can have a lot of fun with it. But each repeat will give you approximately 2 centimetres of braid if you are doing size 8 beads. Any other bead it would change it. And 2 centimetres is approximately 3/4 of an inch. But these are very, very approximate. So how many repeats do you need to do? Well, again, it depends so much on so many variables, so I can't say for sure for you. And you can do a little trial of a certain amount of braid. Once you've made one, you will know what works for you. But my suggestion is that for a bracelet like this one, for a small size bracelet, you probably need 9 repeats. For a medium, you probably need 10 repeats. And for a large, you probably need 11 or more repeats. Now, once you start braiding, the cords move all around the disc and it can be hard to work out which cord is which. So I actually recommend popping on an extra repeat, 1 or 2 more than you think you'll need. You don't have to use them at the end and you can just braid to the length that works for you. Alternatively, you will need to mark your cords. So you need to know the cord that started off in this slot, you need to know which one it is. And that's simple to do. Just pop an extra bead on the end, something reasonably sized so you can use a marker pen and just write 1 on it, 8, 9, etc. Whatever works for you. So now I'm going to show you exactly how this works. So we have a disc. I'm going to bring in some beads. Now, don't be surprised if these roll all over the place. I would normally add my beads on a nice mat that would grip the beads, but I want to be able to do it this way so you can see what I'm doing in conjunction with the chart. So I've got 2 colours of bead here. All you need to know is which you have decided is A and which is B. So for me, A is going to be the background, the blue, and then B is, for my triangle, is going to be this purpley colour. So I take my disc, I take the cord that's in that first slot, between 32 and 1, or number 1. I look at my first repeat, and it's A, 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 B. So, simply A, 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 B. So that's my first repeat. And now I just carry on with that. A, 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 B. It's my second repeat. You might need a system of little ticks on a piece of paper or something like that, moving beads across, just so you know how many repeats you're doing, so you don't have to keep counting if you lose count. But basically, I just carry on doing that same sequence, A, B, on that cord until I've got the number of repeats I'm going to work with. And then I move on. So I'm just going to slide those off so they don't get in my way. I then move on to the next cord, which is this one here, in the slots between 7 and 8, or at 8. And on this one, if I look at my chart, it's all A's. That's nice and easy. So I just do that. A, 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 A. And I do that as many times as I need to. Now, I do recommend, because accuracy is so important, I do recommend that you check that you've got your beading right. So once you've loaded them all up, just do a double check and check down the cords to make sure you've done them correctly. But each slot has its own separate setup. So the third slot that you do will be A, A, B, A. The next one, A, B, B, A. So it's just a matter of concentrating at this stage. Now, I'm going to bring in the bracelet again and just show you that there's a little bit of plain braiding at the beginning and end. So if this is the beginning of my braid, this row here is that plain braiding. So what I need to do is make sure that when I finish with another row A, and that's what I've written here, finish braid with a final row 1. So once you've got to the point where your braid is a tiny bit smaller than you want, because you're going to do that little extra bit, you may need to take off some beads then. Try always to finish a whole sequence, a whole repeat, and then just put a single A bead on each cord and braid that in, and that's what you will achieve there. So basically that is how you make counted braids. And so here they are all coming back again, my first examples. So I hope you've had fun with that. If you've got any questions, you might find that they're answered by going to my website, which is kumihimo.com. And I'm just going to show you that. There we go. So kumihimo.com. And you'll find all sorts of useful stuff there. But what you will find is if you put in the search box counted designs, you will get further information on these. So you may have decided to take a screenshot when you saw the chart, or you can go to my website and find the chart there. What I do ask is, if you've actually used the information that I've given you here to make some lovely things and you choose to post them, I do ask that you mention my YouTube channel, because that's a way of helping others, of helping me of course as well, and keeping us as a strong supportive community where we give credit to those that have helped us. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you'll have fun with it. Goodbye.